Welcome to In the Kitchen with Wynn, where I have candid conversations with food entrepreneurs and local businesses. Our guest today is Tommy Gomes, also known as Tommy the Fishmonger. He's the fifth generation of fisherman and the star of the Fishmonger on the top rated show on Outdoor Channel. Welcome, Tommy. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh my God, it's such fun to be here. Are you kidding? This is going to be great. I'm excited.
Me too. Tommy, so I know a little bit of your backstory, but can you tell our guests how did you become a fishmonger and what is a fishmonger?
That's easy. I mean, I became a fishmonger because I'm too old to go commercial fishing anymore. And, it definitely is a young man's game. And as the American fishermen are being pushed out of business by rules and regulations and the major influx of imported seafood coming in from all around the world, I decided to take a stand and promote local seafood and get people educated on why it's important to know your food, why it's important to know where your food comes from. And a fishmonger is somebody who peddles in fish, and a cheesemonger is somebody who peddles in cheese, and so on and so forth.
That's awesome. And so so tell me, like, what does your day as a fishmonger look like?
I'm usually up by 3:30, 4 o'clock, and then
Wow.
I'm in conversations with guys on the East Coast because they're already up and rocking. And so we go back and forth on marketing and trends and things like that. And then I usually roll into work about 5 o'clock in the morning and help get set up. And if we're offloading boats, we do that. I go next door and talk to Josh at Chula's Seafood because he's right next door to us. And we talk marketing and strategy and what's going on and what boats are coming in and things like that. And then my manager comes in and we get set up and we get rocking and rolling at about 10 o'clock. We open up and continue our day.
And when you say coming into work, are you referring to the Tunaville Market?
Yeah, Tunaville Market and Groceries. We're down here at Driscoll's Wharf, right on the water in Point Loma. It tells you 4904 North Harbor Drive, but if you follow the mapping, it takes you into the Navy base, and you don't want to go there. We're actually on a road behind the Navy base.
Yes. And for our listeners, one fun thing is Wynn's Kitchen's product, the satay sauce and peanut sauce is also for sale in Tunaville Market, which is really fun. So whenever I go in there, I see, all the different fish and seafood. So are you telling me that came in that morning, or how does that work?
Pretty much comes in that morning. Depends on the weather and what boats we have working for us. Right now, we've got about 16 boats that fish for our market. And
wow.
Yeah, and we're promoting local fishermen. We pay the fishermen more. And we try and do our best to get people to understand that good seafood's not cheap and cheap seafood's not good. It just isn't good for you. And our food is changing dramatically. We're fat, we're lethargic, diabetic. We don't have any energy. We're just eating wrong, but we're eating because we're always in a hurry and we want things now, and everything's got to be done real quick. And we need to go back to the slow foods. Go back to that concept and go and meet your farmer and go and meet your fishmonger and your cheesemonger and your butcher and know where your food's coming from, and eat better quality and eat less.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, you don't need to eat these massive meals when you're eating a better quality. Think omakase.
Yep, that's right. That's right. And so who are the primary customers for Tunaville Market?
Well, we have two companies that we run out of here. So we have Celebrity Seafoods, which is our wholesale division, and then we have Tunaville Market and Grocery, which is our retail division.
I see.
We have some extremely high-end restaurants here in San Diego and some very nice sushi bars as well that are buying directly from the boats through us. And
Great.
then we have just an amazing amount of the general public that comes in. And a lot of those folks have been buying from me for over 20 years. I've seen their kids grow
Wow.
up. I've seen their kids have kids. Oh, I'm getting old.
Well, back in the day in college, I worked as a teller at the little Bank of America in Point Loma, and I remember the fishermen would sometimes be out to sea for months at a
Yeah.
time, right? Is that still the case today with a lot of the fishermen?
Yeah, those were tuna fishermen,
I see.
there's no tuna boats, purse seiners left here there's none left in America actually that are fishing
Wow.
tuna. They're all overseas fishing and they don't come back to San Diego. A lot of things have changed, and San Diego was built by the military, Roar Industries down in Chula Vista, and the American Tuna Fleet. And people don't know that. They seem to forget our history and tradition.
Wow. Wow. And so, Tommy, on social media, I see you post a lot about sustainable seafood and how important it is. That's something, to be honest with you, I'm just starting to learn. I grew up eating a lot of seafood, but I just never thought about like where it comes from or what sustainability is. Can you
Right.
share a little bit about what sustainable seafood is and why it's so important?
And that's a great question, and I'll try and lay it out as best I can, because sustainable seafood is the new $20 word. Everybody's using it now,
Yes.
MSC certification and all that stuff. And for me, all of that is useless, because sustainable seafood for me is harvesting of species in a manner that is non-destructive to the fishing habitat, that is not overfished, and has minimal bycatch. And if there is a bycatch, we need to market that bycatch and get people to eat the underutilized species, because it's all good.
Right, right. Can you give me an example of what an underutilized species is?
Well, we did an OPA video a few years back that went viral, tens of millions of views. And at that time, the commercial fishermen were getting 65 cents a pound. And what a lot of people don't understand is that if that fish comes on board and there's a market for it, whether it's 60 cents a pound or $6 a pound, the American fishermen have to bring it home. So it takes up room, the lesser value fish. So we were able to take that 65-cent fish and bring the price up for the fishermen for $2.50.
Wow.
Just because people saw the video and learned all about the 7 primary cuts, and they wanted to try it. And so those are the things that we're trying to do, and educate people on what's good to eat. I mean, we live here in San Diego. There's great fish here in San Diego.
Yeah.
But we're getting people, restaurateurs, and I get it, if it's a restaurant group, it's the management, the upper echelon of the management. You got to watch your money. You've got to watch your food costs. And so we're flying in farmed raised sea bass, Mediterranean Brazino from all over the world. When we have beautiful rockfish here, and you can support your local fishermen. And so that's the stuff that we're trying to do.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've seen tons of rockfish, and is that something that's really popular here in our area in San Diego? Because I've seen you like post just like all the fishermen unloading all the rockfish from the boats, so which is really cool.
Yeah, and it's really delicious. And there's dozens and dozens of species of rockfish, and each one of them is delicious in its own way. And they each have a different fat content and texture and flavor, and the skin is different. And here I say this all the time, we've lost touch with our seafood because we want that 4-ounce piece of fish, bloodline out, skin off, no bones, and we don't want it to taste like fish. That's crazy. So right. And yet,
I'm Vietnamese. I grew up eating fish with bones, the whole shabam.
Yeah. And so you get it. So, And for us white folk, that's what they want. And even though we all have a deep fat turkey fryer up on the shelf in the garage, break that puppy out and start deep frying some of these fish and get in there and eat the fish. You're an adult. Use your hands. No one's going to yell at you. Play with your food. Get in there and eat that stuff like you would a whole chicken. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Because, see, it's all good. Play with your food. You're an adult. Get in there and eat something different from the sea. And you just might find your new favorite, because everybody, when I wish you could see me, because now I'm getting all animated and stuff, all excited. So because people want salmon, swordfish, tuna, halibut, and something called sea bass.
Right.
You put sea bass in front of anything and it'll sell. Oh, I love sea bass. You don't even know what this is. It's just sea bass. So if you, and what I mean by that is Patagonian toothfish.
I've never had that.
Yes, you have.
I have?
Dozens of times.
Oh.
Because nobody would buy it because it was called Patagonian toothfish. So they changed the name to Chilean sea bass.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
But you've had Chilean sea bass.
I have.
Yeah.
Well, that's what it says on the menu anyway.
Okay. So, all right. So here's another one. So rockfish, if it's caught in California, sold and processed in California, it can legally be called Pacific red snapper.
Oh, I see. Wow.
But it's not a snapper. So that's why when you come into reputable markets like Tunaville Market and Grocery, Chula's Seafood, Point Loma Seafoods, you'll see, in my case, I have vermilion rockfish, I have Boccaccio rockfish, I have Santa Maria rockfish, I have chili pepper, I have gold spot, I have green spot rockfish. And so when you come in and you go, oh, I had the Boccaccio rockfish and it was delicious, I'm going to go, oh, cool. Why don't you try this rockfish? And move you down, you know what I mean? You just move them down.
Yeah.
The line. Yeah.
I love that. And so does the staff at Tunaville like help clean out the fish and all that stuff as well? Like, say if I went in and I want to buy like, you know, a couple whole fish, but does it get like descaled and cleaned up for us?
Oh yeah.
Or?
Oh,
okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great.
Oh yeah. My filleter is actually, he's a master fish fabricator. He's been with me for over 15 years.
Wow. I think we need to do a video, and I'd love to learn how to fillet a fish.
Do it.
I have a funny fish story I'll have to share with you real quick. Many years ago, I had a friend that likes to go fishing, and I think in Mexico. And I told him, I said, "Oh yeah, I grew up eating whole fish, and I would use like the fish head and tail to make stock, and we eat a lot of like sweet and sour soups that's made from fish stock." And so I think I just shared that in passing. He comes back and drops off a 50-pound wahoo and a 60-pound yellowtail to my house. And I have never filleted or gutted a fish before in my life, and I will never ever forget that day. It was a tough one for me, but maybe not something that big, but I would love to learn the proper way to fillet a fish.
No, we can show you. Come on down, bring your video camera, and
that'll be fun. Fun.
We'll make it a series.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Awesome. So Tommy, tell us what can we do as consumers to help support the sustainability in the seafood industry?
Ask for the country of origin. I'll give you. So if a vessel offloads, if a vessel is flagged and owned by another country, and it goes into a foreign country and unloads its fish, that country becomes the country of origin. For instance, if a
Mm.
Chinese vessel comes into Ecuador and unloads their fish in Ecuador, that becomes the country of origin.
Oh, wow.
So there's it is some smoke and mirrors, and you got to pay attention to it, but
Yeah.
it's not on anybody's radar in America. They go to the grocery store, which is not the best quality fish, and they pick something out of the case by somebody who's not knowledgeable on seafood, and it gives, that person gets a bad piece of fish, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I don't like fish. Well, it's because you got a bad piece of fish from an inferior vendor.
Right.
Gone are the days of, you had a butcher, you had a baker, you had the candlestick maker, you had the fishmonger, the cheesemonger, the winemaker, and you bartered and traded your chicken eggs and this and that and bread and fries and all of that. And we need to really think about our food and bringing those old school styles back. We've had people come into our shop and you can tell, they're price shopping, and I'll walk over and I'll go, hey, can I help you out? And I go, well, we're just looking at the prices. And I go, well, let me give you some fish. Because you can tell that, they're working hard, and they're trying to stretch their pennies. They got 2.5 kids dragging behind them. And so we don't have an issue helping our fellow men and women out when it comes to getting something to eat. I mean, granted, we're not a soup kitchen, or this ain't UNICEF, but I'll give you for Sundays. We're closed Mondays and Tuesdays. On Sundays, we always have a lot of salads and ceviches and things like that.
Oh, your ceviche is the best. It's the best. Hands down.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that. We just ask people to, come in and don't take advantage of it. But, there's major discounts going on. That doesn't mean that it's bad, because we make it fresh every day. What it means is, basically, my crew's tired of taking it home and eating it, because we're not going to be open for the next 2 days.
Yeah. That's great. And, speaking of just watching your wallet and watching your pennies, I think one of the movements that I've been kind of encouraging is to have people cook more at home.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you can have better quality food, better quality ingredients, and healthier food if you learn how to cook at home. And I'm not saying not go to the restaurants. Like, I love going out to eat on the weekends or with friends, date night, that kind of thing. But during the week, we just don't do takeout. And, I don't want to spend $50 at McDonald's. I want to eat real food, and I want my kids to eat real food.
Seriously.
And when you break it down, buying a high quality fish is so much less expensive than going to takeout for fast food. Fast food is not cheap anymore like it used to be. There's no 10-cent hamburger.
No, bring back the $7 carne asada burrito, please.
Right. Back in the day when I first moved to San Diego, the carne asada burrito was like $1.99. And now it's like, I think it's like $10, $11 for one person. So if you buy a whole fish, that really feeds your entire family for less than I like carne asada burritos, but it's not necessarily healthy unless you make it at home and you're using, quality tortillas and quality meat, and there's not a bunch of sodium and fat and all this other fillers in there.
So
am I right?
Yeah, 100% hitting the nail on the head. Look at it like this. So, how many of us, we are all guilty of this. We go to Costco and we get a whole rotisserie chicken. Everybody's done it.
I am guilty of that.
We eat that thing for 3 or 4 days. But you can come into a shop like mine and buy a beautiful 4-pound, 3-pound, even a 2-pound whole rockfish and take it home and bake it, broil it, barbecue it, deep fry it, whatever it is you want to do. And you can feed a family of 4 on that. You know, you're going to make a rice dish for the side, you're going to make salads and vegetables, and you're going to feed a family of 4 on that one fish, the same as you would with a roasted chicken.
Right.
And the thing is that, I mean, you're very aware of what's going on with food, and I'm getting all weirded out here. My hands are going crazy and everything.
I wish I could see you.
I want you to think of this when it comes to wild seafood. Men and women lay it on the line to go get that and bring in quality seafood to you and your family. Wild seafood is the only protein we don't manufacture. We manufacture our beef, our chicken, our cows. We're manufacturing soybean, that's MSG, Monsanto, Con Ag, all these big Con Ag companies are just, it's just trash. And yet every time the seafood consumption in America starts going up, they throw something out there like mercury scare. And then if pork consumption starts going up, we got the swine flu. Oh, we got mad cow disease. And then comes, people are eating chicken. We got the bird flu. And then they go back to eating fish. And you know what I mean? And so it's time to take, it literally is time to pull your belt a little tighter, pull your pants up, button down, eat higher quality, eat less, eat more vegetables, ask questions about who your food, where your food is coming from. And, you know, we have here in San Diego, we have like National City. National City has great history and is a very historical part of San Diego, yet it's a food desert. Think about that. What supermarket is there?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
There isn't a route. I think there's a Big Ben's down there, but that's about it. You know, and so food is one of those things that I mean, it's kind of important.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But you know, I completely agree with you, and I tell people all the time, it's like our world seems like it's getting more complicated technology wise, like we're always attached to our phones, and I feel like the more I get closer to slowing down and to simplify my life, the happier I am. And that comes with food. You know, there's a neighbor of mine that would make homemade sourdough bread because she slow rides it. It's gluten friendly. So I have a little tricycle with a basket in the back. So I like ride my bike over there, buy a loaf of bread here and there. I just love that. You know, I don't live in a farm area. I live in the suburbs, but just I think people are starting to want and crave that, like knowing who made their food, knowing who caught their fish. You know, I know people who have chickens now, and I'm like, okay, I'll give you a jar of satay sauce, trade you for some chicken eggs. You taste the eggs that you taste coming from someone's chicken is completely different than getting at the grocery store.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, and it just awakens your senses. You know, I'm not much of a gardener, but just having a few basic, like I have my own lemongrass plant, I have my own mint, some green onions, and you know, sometimes I just want a couple little bit of chives in my soup. I just go out and like, you know, use some scissor and snip it down and toss it in my soup, and the flavor is completely different.
Different. Yeah, it's
way different.
It's not manufactured, it's grown with love.
Right. And I'm starting to think like, okay, even me not knowing how to garden much and I don't have a ton of time, but things like, I'm like, you know what, I eat a lot of garlic. And when I go to the Asian market, it says like the garlic is from China. And I'm like, this garlic is garlic. Why does it have to come all the way from China?
Because it's cheaper. So
It's so crazy that that something from so far away is less expensive than something that can come from any dirt near us.
yeah,
That blows my mind.
yeah. So we take, when I say we, California, we have
Mm-hmm.
the best squid fishery on the planet, calamari.
Mm-hmm.
And
I love
so
calamari. Mm-hmm.
we harvest it, we freeze it,
Mm-hmm.
we ship it to China where it's defrosted, processed, and cleaned,
Mm-hmm.
and then shipped back.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So
That is.
here I am in San Diego, right? And
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I have to buy my squid from Lund's Fishery in New Jersey, Cape May, New Jersey, family owned and operated squid company. I get my squid all the way from Cape May and driven by truck all the way to San Diego because I cannot get California squid that's processed in the United States.
Wow. That's an unbelievable.
And
Wow.
so I was buying squid from these guys, and
Mm-hmm.
then I landed the TV show and I had to go out. I never met them before. And I flew out there to film a segment with them. And the
Mm-hmm.
operation is so cool. And they have like 4 and 5 generation workers at their plant. And I mean, it was just super cool, family owned and operated with a lot of generations working there. And the story is great. And so it's a better product. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's why we buy it.
That's wow, that's awesome. Yeah, and I mean, I even get like a farm box from a local farm in Oceanside, and you know, I love it. I love every time I go to like swing by Point Loma and I go over to Tunaville and I just see, you know, like you guys loading like just seeing like the fish that I saw on Facebook, you loading off the boat,
Yeah.
right? It's just such a it's good to know that there wasn't food coloring put in there. It's not like there's not chemicals in the fish. Like some of the stuff I see, especially seafood, I get really weary about. Just
Oh yeah, me too.
I'm just
Me
like,
too.
oh, that.
You know, you mentioned Oceanside and farmers up there. You know, for listeners out there, there's a guy up there, Cyclops Farms, Luke.
Oh, okay.
He has a dinner called the Water Bill Dinner,
How
where
fun.
a lot of the chefs in North County and Oceanside
Mm-hmm.
get together and they go to his farm and they have this big dinner you can buy tickets to that
Oh,
helps him pay.
fun.
It helps pay his water bill.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And
I had no idea.
when you go there, and if you're into the whole food scene,
Mm-hmm.
you will be pleasantly surprised at
Mm-hmm.
who's cooking,
Wow, I love that.
because
I love that.
there'll be 5 or 6 chefs helping, and I guarantee you'll know at least 4 or 5 out of the 6,
Wow.
or at least have heard of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the chefs being able to give back to the community and the businesses that help their businesses. It's like a synergy, right? Um, yeah, no, that I'll have to check them out. Thank you for that. Well, Tommy, let's end with something a little fun. Thank you so much
Wait,
for
what do you
what?
mean end? We just got rolling.
I can I can talk to you all day long.
We got,
Well,
you know
tell
what
us
I'm gonna do?
what.
I'm gonna give you an invite. So you need to come, bring your family. You need to come down to my house and film with me on the back deck over the ocean.
Absolutely. I would love to do that anytime. Just give me a heads up.
Bring
But
your family,
is
make
it
it a
in the
family
morning?
day.
Is it really early in the morning?
No,
Okay. Because sometimes I see you post stuff and it says like 3 a.m. I'm like, ooh.
yeah, that's my life.
But
Yeah.
it's not easy being a fisherman. I know that much for sure. But thank you so much for showing, like, letting us know about sustainable seafood. I mean, and even just knowing the source of our food in general, like you said, you know, getting back to the basics of knowing your local food producers, your cheesemonger, your butcher, where your eggs come from, where your fish comes from. But let's end with, tell us something a little interesting about yourself that maybe most people don't
I mean, my story's out there
know.
all over the internet and
Hmm.
everything else. You know, I'm very
Yeah,
blessed. I'm very blessed. I'm very grateful of where I'm at today in life,
good.
because life that wasn't always easy for me. And
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
we all have good, bad, and ugly. And I'll leave you with this: there are people out there that love and care about you that you haven't met yet. Never
Hmm.
deny them the opportunity to meet the real you.
Wow, I love that. Wow.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, thank you so much, Tommy. I really appreciate your time, and I can't wait to get back out there and eat some ceviche and learn how to fillet fish and all the good stuff. So, and film with you at your home.
We're looking
Um,
forward to it.
thank you so much again.
See you later. Eat
See
more
you later.
fish.
Eat more fish, everyone.